And that is episode featuring Stoneboy with Jehovah in the background. You're still watching Simply Showbiz right here on TV3. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just tuning in, you're welcome. Now, today we're discussing meeting music production standards the way forward. Joining me to have this hard conversation, as my panelists have already told me off air, is Where Your Ting, sorry. He's a music producer. He's an entertainment analyst. Oting, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And also I have Kofi Iron Beat Menace Boachi Ansa. Now he's a multidisciplinary artist and creative entrepreneur. You're welcome as well.
Thank you.
And when I saw your title, I was like, okay, I will need you to. But I actually ended up finding out you do bits and pieces of everything. You add other parts of creative, stuff to your craft. And so I was like, that is broad for someone to do. Let me start off with you. How did you get yourself into music production, and is it rewarding so far? Has it been rewarding so far?
Well, that's a slippery slope. Thanks once again for having me.
You're welcome.
Yes, just like you pointed out earlier, I do wear several hats. And I've always been intrigued with music, I mean, a couple of years ago, I spoke to my mom, and I was trying to remind her that I thought the earliest memory of my hearing a particular song, and I sort of sang the song, and of course, over the years, I discovered the artist and the music, and I played it for her, and she was shocked. She said there was no way I could have remembered that because I was probably about 2 years old.
Wow.
Because they lost the vinyl. I think somebody borrowed it and never returned it back. So music has always been an important part of my life growing up, and even more so because I consider myself like a creative person, because I do quite a number of things and do it professionally. So music has always been a part of me, as a means of expression,
right,
so to speak. So probably I've been producing for, give or take, professionally about 16, 18 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Have I answered your question?
I'll be saying a lot of wow a lot today because, with the people I am joined in studio with, because you have done amazingly well as well. But I think you were adding something quickly.
No, I wanted to know if I'd answered your question.
You
your
have
question
answered,
was
but I will
loaded.
get to the point where I'm finding out whether if it's been rewarding so far.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we'll get to that point. But I am going to ask you as well, how did music production come for you?
To me, creativity has always been a passion. Creativity is not something you learn. You only, after discovering yourself, who you want to be in that space, then you need to go through the process to become a professional. So with me, it started when I was, little, and my mom used to go to church, follow her.
Should be thanking our moms, huh?
Exactly.
I know.
Sing songs. Then I started with the drums, gradually onto the percussion, and then onto the keyboards. So right from day one, I knew I wanted to get into the music space, but as to where,
I didn't know yet.
Till on and on and on. I played for a couple of churches, pastors followed them around until after Accra Academy, and then I realized, no, I want to actually make beats.
Right.
I want to actually make beats. So music has been part of me.
Okay.
From insertion, and then that was when I got myself the right people tutored, and then I felt it shouldn't end there. Took some online courses, delved deep into my craft, got the right people around me, because creativity is such that the people around you influence what you become.
Okay.
Gradually.
So when you say the right people, what do you mean?
Right people who knew, had done it, had gone through, the chains in and outside the country, and have seen stuff, to actually associate myself with. Because it's unfortunate, we do not have any creative art school in Ghana. Back then, like within the 2000s and all that, you can't get a school where you say, I'm going to learn a sound engineer and I'm going to do this. You only had to go through people. And after that, if you're able to find smart people who can then nurture you and upgrade yourself, then you can become who you are. So that has been my process, and I never cease to learn. So it has opened so many great opportunities for me to have become a Grammy nominee. as at this moment. So
go you.
That's how the journey has been.
Right. Now, we at the end of the day want to know what music production, entails, what goes into it, and whether if, here in Ghana we're working towards, as in if we have a standard. So I want to find out, what goes into music production, because I understand there's the songwriting part, there's the arranging, there's the tracking, there's the editing, the mixing, and the mastering. So you can add on if I'm missing anything.
There's a programming part.
So does it mean that, no, before we get that, let's give us a little background to all of these pointers that I've made, like the songwriting bit. Do you, as an artist, do you always have to know how to write a song? Because down here, we sort of frown on people who have songwriters. I don't know why that is.
Some of the biggest people that have made history in the world didn't write their own songs. You see, as an artist or as a musician, you don't need to overburden yourself with everything. So you have the like of Michael Jackson, having R. Kelly write for them. You had like the Celine Dion's, having R. Kelly write for them.
Whitney Houston at a point
exactly.
in time,
You have Neo write for all the big stars. In Ghana, you have Akabwa, who did it big with Becca, Efia. Talk of like a lot. Because as a musician, you have a lot on your head. Your craft, your performance, your this, your that. So I'm not saying if you're able to write, it's bad. No, it's not bad.
It's actually a plus for you, I guess.
It's a plus. But if you have people write for you, then and it suits your way,
your style,
and how you want to be projected, then I think to me is good. Because the system always makes sure that everybody gets what they deserve in terms of royalties, mechanical rights, and all those things. So nobody gets cheated if you know what you're about. So getting people to write for you, in my opinion,
there's nothing wrong with that.
It's absolutely it's something that has been happening, and it
it's
won't
a
stop.
thing. How do we orient Ghanaians to not sort of look at someone differently when they come out to say, "Oh, this person wrote the song for me"?
We have architects. They do not go to the site and start, picking the mortar and the blocks and bits and pieces.
They have the vision, so they
have the vision. So the writer has that vision. He envisions a song, how it's supposed to be and all that, write it, and look at that person who best fits in that suit. He gives the song. They go through, they love it. If they have to make some changes and bits and pieces here, they do it. Don't forget, you have your voice, and that is your stronghold. Don't worry yourself by trying to forcefully write and not get something right or wrong. So if you have the voice, you look for writers, they aid you. Just like the way you as a musician might not be able to make a beat. So don't force it. Whatever you think your stronghold is, if it's your voice, push it. If it's your writing skills, because Akawa Coming realized his stronghold was on writing. He did an amazing writings for so many people, and it all blew up. I don't recall any Akawa song that never blew. It was mega. Until he realized that, and he was a keyboardist, he was a programmer then, until he realized that I can actually use my voice and it will work perfectly. He trained himself over time. Don't forget, he was even a voice coach then. He could coach you to get your acts right, to deliver. But at a point when he realized after all that he also can step up and do that, he did it. So it still doesn't matter.
Let me come to you, Kofi. On arranging, what is that?
Well, I guess it's one of the most critical yet overlooked aspect of production. In simple terms, if you take a symphonic orchestra, right? You're listening to classical music, you have an orchestra of about 200 players. Everybody has an instrument. Everybody's playing, right? 200 instruments in a huge auditorium. And you compare it to our regular, maybe Afro beats or any of these contemporary genres today, which would comprise probably not not more than 8 instruments. Okay, drums, bass, synthesizers, percussion, additional keyboards. So let's say 8 instruments. You'd realize that most of our music sounds busy and cluttered compared to an orchestral piece that is made of 200 plus instruments playing at the same time.
Okay.
The difference between the two and the lack of the clutter in the symphonic orchestral piece is the work of an arranger. An arranger is the person who determines who plays what in a song, how to play it, and when to play it. And it's a skill.
Wow.
Let me break it down in even simpler terms. For those people watching who love fufu, you go to your favorite chop bar, there's a lady who's driving the fufu. In Tree, we say, Oka fufu.
Right?
And you see 4 sweaty pounders pounding their lives away. But they never smash the lady's hands. It's because she's concentrating on the moments of silence in between the turns. That's arranging. Everything needs to have its place at the right time.
I see. Let's just then there's tracking. What's tracking?
Tracking is recording. That's the professional term for recording.
Okay.
Tracking is the technical term used to describe the process of recording an instrument or a performer. Okay? And so usually you would track after the song has been properly arranged. You understand?
Okay.
Now we need to come back to arrangement because it actually affects the quality of mixing, which is the next stage after tracking. Because if a song, you can have a great song sung by a great writer, recorded by a great engineer, or tracked by a great engineer, mixed by a great engineer. If it's poorly arranged, you would have a problem when it comes to mixing. Why? Because a lot of instruments will be fighting for each other. When you're mixing for clarity and punch, somebody has to sacrifice one instrument to make another shine.
Wow.
So who you know, I don't know if I'm making sense.
You are, and it gives me this, it puts in perspective how work is done, like the amount of work that is put in the production and everything. Now we also want to find out at the end of the day, mastering, how is it done? Like, if you have a song that has not been mastered, can you let it go? Or every song out there has to be mastered? Let me find out from you, Kofi. Kofi, both of you are smiling. Why?
Well, that's a very open-ended question. Why? Because I'll have to speak in a broader sense. I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I'm trying to speak from a broader perspective, and also specifically to the times we're in. Because we live in a very fast-paced, ever-evolving digital landscape. And with that, content is key. Okay, we live in a visual audio world. Okay, we have all these new formats that are now emerging. Immersive formats, you have ambisonics, you have Dolby Atmos, you even have broadcast standards. So mastering is a very integral part of the production or the post-production process when it comes to sound or music.
Okay.
And even more so, depending on what the deliverables or the final product is supposed to be used for. If it's for film or broadcast mastering standards are very different from regular audio consumption. So the technical term is, if you just port a finally mixed and mastered song that you would take to iTunes or Apple Music or Spotify, and you bring it to be used in a film, okay, as a soundtrack, okay, or part of a score, or if you were to use it for broadcast formats for a TV show, like your show, for instance, the levels or the standards that you typically require for consumption on Spotify or, say, Apple Music is usually too loud. There's something called decibels in sound engineering. I mean, I'm sure most of you, if you have amps or similar players at home, when you turn the volume knob, you see plus something dB, decibels, right? So the regular standards for regular music consumption is sometimes between 6 to 8 decibels louder. In sound engineering, you say it's hotter than for broadcasts. So if you don't speak to your mastering engineer to have various versions of deliverables of the same product suited for different purposes, you'd be in trouble.
Okay.
And it's the same for mixes. I'll explain something to you right now. If Shirley does a movie, Aspire Productions movie, and she loves an Akwaboah song, and they want to use that particular track in a particular scene that has a lot of dialogue. So you have the key characters on screen, and there's a lot of conversation happening. If they use the original song in its original form, and Akwaboah tends to be saying a lot of things lyrically, at the exact part that suits that scene, you would have a clash. So you even need different versions of a mix that is meant for use for film and for broadcast, so that the vocals do not clash with on-screen dialogue.
I see.
This opens an entirely different can of worms.
Yeah, yeah.
This conversation is a very nuanced but multi-layered one, because failure to adhere to some of these I am aware of some Ghanaian artists who got some very unique opportunities that could have exposed them to a wider audience for use maybe in games, international film productions, and their music was turned away because they did not meet those industry standards for specific use.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, you're still watching Simply Showbiz right here on TV3. The conversation has started. We're learning at the end of the day, just so we can make sure that what we're churning out there is up to standard, global standard, whatever we want to call it at the end of the day. It's Simply Showbiz right here on TV3. Thank you very much for joining us. We are having a conversation, or we're discussing, our music production, whether if it's meeting standards right here in Ghana, even globally as well, the way forward. Now, joining me to have that conversation, we've got Kofi. Kofi has spoke at length. Where your ting to has said so much. There's more, by the way, so don't go anywhere. We'll be getting into that some more pretty shortly. But joining me via Zoom is Voodoo Main. He is an Afro beats hip life artist. Hi, Voodoo Main. It's good to have you join us. How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very well.
Thank you so much one more time.
Yeah, thank you for making me chill with the big boys.
Oh, yeah. It's good to have you bam with us. Anyways, let's quickly get to this part of the conversation where we're finding out. It says you are a hip life artist, yeah? Yes. And you are in Nigeria. You're Nigerian. How do you get the hip life sound again?
I've been doing this actually from Ghana. I'm Ghana, but I've been in Nigeria most of the time. Yeah.
Okay, so then that explains, because hip life is ours.
Yes.
Alrighty. Okay, now it's good we've actually established that. Now let's talk about how music is done in Nigeria. I'm asking this with regard to every time a conversation about our music production is had, we always have this comparison with Nigeria. Nigeria comes in here and there. How has it been since you've been there? How is the music scene like in Nigeria as compared to Ghana here? Do they play a lot of Ghanaian music out there?
They do play, but not as much as. And one thing you have to know, Nigeria, the population in Nigeria is very, very big. So, and it's a lot of them. They have too many talents. They have too many talent than Ghana, but they don't play so much of Ghanaian, because maybe most of the songs that Ghanaian artists do is not, Nigerians are like being in the United States. They're like, anything that United States is doing is actually trending in the whole world. So it's like Nigeria is like a big dog when it comes to music. So when they do a music, that means that anybody that's doing music is supposed to have something that trends, but that go along with whatever they are doing, that they can put in their mix. So if you don't have, doing songs that they can actually relate to, that will be in their mix, it's like it's hard for them to mix. Even the radio presenters and the TV presenter and the DJs, they say the same thing all the time. They want to play.
Okay, you've been able to find your way there, and then we've got Nigerian music some way taking over our space here in Ghana. What do you think they're doing differently that Ghanaian artists aren't doing?
I think they crossing over. The crossing over is very, very important in every man's life. You need to divert. You need to do something different from what you are doing. and Nigerians are open to do it. For instance, if I see you are a very good presenter, and my kid or my child is looking up to you, and my child says, "Daddy, I want to be like this lady, or I want to be this person," then I have to tell my daughter, "Look, this is what you need to do. This is what she did for her to be on that level. But you can be better than this lady, or you can be better than this man. You have to go through this particular angle to become who you want to be, maybe better than this person." So when it comes, the same thing when it comes to music. When they are doing music, they do music that attracts global attention, and it's not, sometimes the dancing, but it's not just the dancing. Sometimes they do songs that are very, very touching, that people can relate to. In their Ghanaian music is dope. Like we do dope music in Ghana too. But right now, globally, most of the people that when you are doing music, you need to make sure that I think music actually has come to a point where we need to steady. We need to open our eyes and see. We shouldn't close our mind onto one part and then say that, okay, we are good with whatever we are doing. We need to open our eyes and say that, can this Indian man over here understand what I'm doing? Can this Pakistani understand what I'm doing? Can these people from America really relate to my music? Can these people from France relate to it? So those are things.
Right. Before, we don't really have much time. Sorry about that. But let me quickly also find out from you, okay? As an artist, what is the process that your music goes through in order for you to feel that this is ready for the market?
Yeah, I heard one of you, I don't know if it's Kofi or something like that, just say something about the mixing and tracking out and stuff like that. Those things are very important, because if a DJ has to play a song in a club or play a song in a radio station, first of all, you need to have the music ready. By making it ready, you're supposed to make sure that the music is recorded nicely by an engineer, and then it needs to be arranged properly, like he said. It's very, very important. And then you need to have it mixed and then have it mastered. Those are process. You need to go through those process. Gone are the days when we do songs and we don't do too much. Somebody just do it and they just throw it out there. Now, the kind of equipment they are having, they want to have high quality sound. So when you do a song, you need to make sure that it is actually properly mixed and properly mastered or tracked out nicely by the engineer, the sound engineer, and then sent to the mixing engineer, and then send it to the mastering engineer. Okay. Sometimes it's that doing the mastering, sometimes too it's not.
All right, Vudumain, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We really appreciate it, and have a good day, yeah?
So much. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Now, coming back to my in-studio, guest, let's talk about this. Do you believe, it's a conversation that's been happening for a while now, do you believe that the longer an artist spends on a track, the better it becomes?
No, I do not believe that.
Okay.
If you know what you're doing, it's swift. Unless you're not certain or you feel you're looking for some particular element that is not in there.
Okay.
Because a song can start its production this morning, and if you have the right people in place, by tomorrow, you need to really have a feel of how the end product should be. Now, this is how it is on an average.
Okay.
It's divided into, let me say, 3 people on an average in Ghana. The programmer, the mix engineer, and then the mastering engineer.
Okay.
So the programmer is the guy that plays the beat. He just plays the beat. Put the pianos, the strings, the bass, and everything in there. So he is the programmer.
Okay.
Now we have the mix engineer. The mix engineer is the guy that makes sure that, the bass is too much. Let me tune it this way. The voice, I think it needs more highs than lows. I want to add some auto-tune to the voice. There's some twitch here, twitch there. There's some inconsistencies in the voice when it comes to the chord up, progression and all that, the way it was sung. So let me tune to make sure that I have everything, on point. So that person is the mix engineer. He makes sure that you're listening to the song and it's sounding good. There is no clash with an instrument and a voice, and the bass is clashing with the kick and all that. So that is the job of the mix engineer. And then we have the mastering engineer. The guy that makes sure that your song is up to the standard for the market.
Okay.
It doesn't matter wherever it is being taken to, but he needs to make sure, per the request of the artist, or how or wherever they want to place the song, that the song is up to. So the heights and everything has been tuned properly.
Okay.
Your bass, your sub, and everything,
volume,
the level, the volume is actually up to. So when you drop it in a speaker, you realize that wow, the punch and everything is there. Normally, in Ghana, you have the guy who plays the beat. Now it's even changing because people plays beats and, you know, they just send it out to other people to kind of like write on. And when they get the beat, they decide on who to actually record with.
Okay.
If not, the guy that plays the beat, if you engage his services, unfortunately, there's not much money being pumped into our system. So you would need one guy to do everything. Professionally, it's not supposed to be like that. But this is Ghana where we think, why would you want to master a song for me and take me 1,000 Ghana cedis or 2,000 Ghana cedis? Oh, then I think this guy can do everything. So the guy that makes the beat takes your vocal, that he tracks your vocal as well. Once he's done, side by side, you arrange. Oh, I like this one here. Place this here. Put this harmony here. That you arrange and make sure that from chorus to verses to hooks, everything is in order. Now, once that is done, that's your arrangement, and then you move on to the mix and then the mastering stage before you proceed.
Okay, Kofi, let me find out from you. So here in Ghana, in order for our music, or in order for us to be sure that we've met the standard, our music can cross global threshold or whatever it is called out there, what are we not doing right, or what should we be doing right? We
lack the requisite training, first and foremost. Okay. You need to understand that audio engineering is physics. Okay, there's a creative aspect to it, but it's also a science. Okay, so you need the perfect intersection between the art and the science. So you need to, for somebody to really be a great engineer, at the very least, even if they are not formally trained, they need to be aware of certain concepts about the physicality of sound and how to manipulate it. You understand? Secondly, we need to pay attention to what's happening globally, because in Ghana we don't have standards to begin with. We don't have regulatory bodies that ensure that something goes on air, on TV3, and the audio has to be of this specific quality. It doesn't exist. You understand? Okay. So everything in our space is Takashi. So for us to compete globally, we need to be aware of what's happening globally, what the standards are, and we need to put in the requisite measures to ensure that practitioners in the area get the requisite training that's required or needed to meet those standards.
Now, speaking of which, you are the founding member of the Audio Engineers and Producers Association of Ghana.
I am a founding member.
You're a founding member.
Yeah, so there are a number of people.
A number of people. So
where your thing is a member.
So give us a little, background to that. Like you guys decided to found that because of the problem you had noticed in our system?
Yes,
okay.
part of.
How is it doing? Is it?
Well, like everything else in a creative space, it's not devoid of its challenges. Primarily because it's one of the few times, or one of the first times, that there's a collective was formed that went beyond just the groupings of people, but that actually went ahead to have it like properly incorporated, and recognized by the laws of Ghana as an association with a legal charter, primarily, first and foremost, to unite practitioners who are producers and audio engineers. Now, these are distinct yet linked disciplines, and I'll explain further. And also to foster a community that promotes growth, interaction, primarily with the sole purpose of improving our skill and our understanding what it takes to be responsible for going by certain titles, just as it is elsewhere, so people can be trained and they can become better practitioners in that area.
Okay, let me take your thoughts as well on how meeting the global standard. What's the way forward?
I think it's in two parts.
And this is you wrapping up, please.
Yeah, I think it's in two parts. The two parts, first is the person and how well you've acquired your mental, or your ideas to kick off. So it's the person and the equipment. Because irrespective of how dynamic or great you are, what a red camera can do, I'm very sorry, you can't just use a phone camera to do those things. They never produce the same thing. And now you see a lot of people walking around with laptops and mics doing stuff. That is just the beginning. But at the end of the day, when those things are done, where do we take them to finalize, to finish, or to retrack and make sure that we're getting the quality that we need? It's equipment based. That's why there are so many television stations, but some are very distinct when it comes to picture, sound quality, and everything. That has got nothing to do with the people controlling them. It has got everything to do with the right equipment and the right people who knows how to manipulate the equipment to achieve greatness.
Okay.
So it's two-way. You can have the right people who can achieve greatness, but without the right equipment to allow them achieve greatness, you won't get anywhere. And when you can have the right equipment, if you don't have the right people who knows how to manipulate the equipment, you still won't get anywhere. So the global standards are there. They have always been there, because today, if you listen to Bob Marley's songs, which was done then and remastered later on, I mean, it still sound and can compete with any current good song or good reggae song that you hear in town. So the global standards has always been there. But the question is, in Ghana, global standards are not just achieved by saying it. They are achieved through money.
Investors. I think someone. This is very quickly, because they're telling us we have to go. Quickly, I saw somewhere that I think Mr. Logic did mention some time back that up and coming artists, if they know they don't have money, they shouldn't do music. Is that the reason? Maybe some artists don't master their work. Is that what it is?
When you're kicking off, money plays a greater part of whatever. Okay. But creativity starts everything. Okay. Don't forget, people have the money, they do not have the people. If you have everything it takes to be taken onto the world platform and you start, I mean, people can always hold you and take you to where you want to be. The only thing is, let your craft be what can take you anywhere. Because no matter how much money that will be invested in you, if you really don't have what it takes to take yourself there, your money will take you there, but your talent will bring you back. So equally, you need to be talent and money to actually push.
Sorry, something brief. Your final comments.
Right. What about?
The global. How do we put our music out there?
Well, I think first and foremost, we need to get past just the being in our comfort zone of just locking ourselves in our studios, our rooms. And we should actually read and research and find out what industry standards are. And we need to be careful where we get, some information, because the internet is a free platform, and literally almost every idiot with an opinion has a platform, right?
That's true. That's so true.
We need to be intentional
about it.
With working to improve our skill.
All right, thank you so much, and that's our show for today. Thanks going out to Kofi Ayam Beats Menace Boachianta. He's a multidisciplinary artist and creative entrepreneur, and also Way Your Ting. He is a music producer and entertainment analyst. My name is Akofa. Thank you so much for watching.